beauty. It's a pursuit as old as humanity itself, a quest for perfection that has driven us to extraordinary lengths. We strive for it, crave it, and spend fortunes on it. But what if the price of beauty was more than just a dent in your wallet? Beauty is pain, a cliché we often hear today. But in ancient times, that pain could be far more literal. It could actually kill you. From the pursuit of a flawless complexion to the allure of captivating eyes, the beauty standards of the past were often shockingly dangerous. Consider the glowing white skin, a symbol of status and beauty for centuries, achieved with the application of lead-based cosmetics. Or the dramatic eyeliner, meant to enhance the eyes, crafted from ingredients like ground-up arsenic. These weren't just beauty treatments, they were silent assassins. The pursuit of beauty, in its most extreme forms, was a deadly game. From glowing white skin made with lead to eyeliner made of ground-up arsenic. This is the tale of makeup that could kill you. Ancient Egypt is often described as a cradle of civilization. The culture emerged on the banks of the Nile River over 5,000 years ago and slowly morphed into a prosperous civilization. While they are best known for their monumental architectural features, including towering stone pyramids and enormous temple structures, the Egyptians are also credited with inventing many of the beauty products we use today. The ancient Egyptians were infatuated with beauty and how the world perceived them. This is evident in the many sculptures left behind, which often portray the pharaohs beautifully. However, the use of beauty products goes back to time long before individual rulers governed a unified kingdom. During the pre-dynastic era, the people living along the Nile used scented oils and various ointments to clean and soften their skin. They also applied fragrant oils to their skin to mask body odor. As the culture slowly evolved, they began experimenting with other forms of cosmetics, and they are often cited as one of the first cultures to use makeup. One of the most prevalent beauty products used throughout the vast territory of Egypt was kohl, an organic eyeliner that's been used for over 6,000 years. The primary function of this eyeliner was cosmetic, and it was used to darken and define the eyes. Both men and women, from pharaohs to commoners, applied it daily, and its bold application was seen as a way to enhance beauty. But it also had certain supernatural aspects. For one, the Egyptians believed that kohl had magical properties, offering protection from diseases and warding off the evil eye. Kohl was produced by mixing together an assortment of ingredients, including burnt almonds, oxidized copper, ash, ochre, and, believe it or not, lead. These ingredients were then combined with oil or fat to produce a cream. Beyond its cosmetic and supernatural aspects, kohl also had a few practical uses, the most important being that it actually protected their eyes from the sun. Generally, kohl was stored in a small stone pot and kept inside an elaborate case made of silver, ivory, or wood. At the height of Egyptian civilization, authentic kohl came with a rather expensive price tag, which was typically only affordable to members of the upper classes. However, the peasant class had their own cheaper variant. Yet, to this day, researchers are unsure what ingredients were used in its production. Despite its widespread popularity amongst Egyptians, it came with a few serious health concerns that we are only now aware of in our modern era. The most obvious danger stems from using galena, or lead sulfide, as a key ingredient. Galena was crushed and mixed with other substances to create the cosmetic. Lead exposure can lead to serious health problems, including high blood pressure, kidney problems, reproductive issues like infertility and miscarriage, as well as neurological damage, potentially resulting in seizures, coma, and even death. Prolonged exposure to lead, even at, let's say, doses equivalent to using it in a cosmetic product occasionally, can still result in mood disorders, gastrointestinal issues like abdominal pain and constipation, as well as muscle and joint pain. But it wasn't just the Egyptians who experimented with lead in their beauty products. The use of lead in cosmetics was a significant aspect of beauty practices in ancient Rome. The Romans, particularly women, strived for a pale complexion, which was a sign of high social status, as it indicated that they did not have to perform manual labor outdoors and could afford to stay indoors. They frequently used face creams and other preparations containing lead to achieve this desired pallor. Lead, specifically white lead, or lead carbonate, was a primary ingredient in many Roman face creams and powders used for whitening the skin. This practice is well documented in various sources, such as Ovid's Medicamina Faciae Feminae, or The Art of Beauty. In this, he provides a recipe for a face whitener that includes white lead, among other ingredients. The recipe, though detailed, provides us with clear evidence that the toxic metal was used as a key ingredient in the quest to achieve a whiter complexion. Fast forward to the 16th century, and we find one of the most infamous examples of the use of lead in beauty products. During this era, Venetian cerus emerged as a popular skin-whitening cosmetic product. Also known as Venetian white, it was highly sought after by European nobles and aristocrats, who believed Venice was the source of the best white lead on the continent. But just like their Egyptian neighbors on the Mediterranean, they would have also been subject to the nasty side effects of applying this toxic chemical on their skin. I don't know about you, but I'm happy to stick to the lead-free options we have today. As we move from one cradle of civilization to another, the ancient Chinese also valued beauty and sought ways to enhance their appearance, just like their Egyptian counterparts. Ancient Chinese beauty practices were deeply intertwined with social, political, and economic factors, with each dynasty having unique makeup styles that reflected the culture of the time. Light complexions were highly valued, representing the ideal of femininity and social status, a trend that continues in many Asian cultures today. This preference for pale skin drove the women to use several unique ingredients that could whiten the face, even if they were toxic. Believe it or not, lead was mixed with other substances to create a powder that could achieve a pale complexion, but mercury was also used extensively. The primary mercury-containing ingredient used in ancient Chinese cosmetics was cinnabar, or mercury sulfide. Cinnabar is a red mineral pigment, known as dan or zhusha to the Chinese. They primarily sourced from regions in southwestern China, particularly from mercury mines in the Wu and Yuan River basins. Mercury was used to enhance beauty in several different ways in ancient China. Cinnabar was used as a pigment, particularly for its vibrant red color. It was ground up and used to create a rosy hue on the cheeks. The Tang dynasty, known for its open and bold approach to makeup, saw rouge become the most popular cosmetic product, with women applying it in large areas to create a luxurious presentation. It was also used as an early form of lipstick. This method combined cinnabar with water to prevent lips from cracking and bleeding, and to add color. Mercury was even used in health products. Ancient manuscripts on Chinese medicine claim it was mixed with several other ingredients to create the infamous Huafeng Dan pill, used to treat various ailments. But like the Egyptians and their use of lead, the Chinese were clearly unaware of just how toxic cinnabar can be to humans. Cinnabar is a natural, inorganic mineral that is the primary ore of mercury. It is composed of approximately 86% mercury, which is chemically bound to sulfur atoms in a crystalline structure. SRO, even though the mercury in cinnabar is chemically bound, meaning it poses less of a risk than its raw form, using cinnabar in beauty products still leads to mercury poisoning. Once in the bloodstream, mercury is distributed throughout the body and can begin to wreak havoc on one's health in many different ways. Mercury's toxicity stems from its ability to interfere with cellular functions. Mercury disrupts cellular processes by binding to proteins and enzymes, interfering with their normal function. This can lead to oxidative stress, inflammation, and cell death. It's also a known neurotoxin. It can damage the nervous system. Symptoms include tremors, memory loss, mood changes, and difficulty with coordination. Mercury is also particularly harmful to fetuses as an environmental toxin in pregnancy, meaning an unborn child could be born with birth defects, intellectual disabilities, and problems with motor skills, vision, and hearing. But if you think that's all, you'd be wrong. Remember, we are dealing with one of the most toxic substances on the planet. Prolonged exposure can severely affect human organs, including the brain, and even lead to kidney failure. It can also affect the gastrointestinal tract. So we think it's safe to say there are numerous reasons as to why you should avoid coming into contact with mercury on a regular basis. But it wasn't just the Chinese who utilized mercury in their cosmetic products. The pursuit of beauty has, throughout history, often come at a significant cost, with ancient Europeans being no exception. The use of mercury spanned various eras and cultures, driven by the desire for specific aesthetic effects. But the consequences were often devastating. Ancient Europeans, particularly the Romans, utilized mercury in various cosmetic applications, despite its known toxicity. The use of mercury in beauty products was widespread, reflecting the era's beauty standards and the limited understanding of the element's harmful effects. In the Renaissance, vermilion, a pigment derived from mercury, was a popular choice for adding color to lips and cheeks. The bright red color was also used in paintings and other art forms. If you're thinking the fascination with using toxic chemicals to color the cheeks and lips red couldn't get any more obscene, well, you'd be wrong. Throughout the 19th century, a particularly toxic element in the form of arsenic was marketed as a beauty product. Often taken in a pill form to achieve a pale complexion and rosy cheeks, the use of arsenic as a beauty product has a long and troubling history. This practice was driven by the beauty standards of the time, where a pale complexion was considered desirable, often associated with wealth and leisure, as opposed to a tanned complexion, which was associated with working outdoors. The appeal of arsenic wasn't limited to just whitening the skin. It was also believed to give the skin a rosy-cheeked look, which was achieved through capillary damage. This effect, while seemingly desirable at the time, was a direct result of the toxic effects of arsenic on the body. One of the most well-known examples of arsenic-based beauty products was Dr. James P. Campbell's Safe Arsenic Complexion Wafers, which were advertised to remove blemishes and give skin a radiant appearance. These wafers and other similar products were marketed as safe, despite the known toxicity of arsenic. The wafers were intended to be ingested, exposing users to the poison directly. The use of arsenic in cosmetics was not limited to the United States. In the Elizabethan era, some women used a mixture of vinegar, chalk, and arsenic to whiten their skin. This practice, like the later use of arsenic wafers, was intended to prevent aging and achieve a pale complexion. But it resulted in arsenic being absorbed into the bloodstream. So, like we've already shown, mixing highly toxic elements with other ingredients to create a cosmetic product is a disaster waiting to happen. The use of arsenic is no different, and the long-term consequences were often severe. Arsenic is a potent poison that can cause a range of health problems, including damage to the kidneys and nervous system, hair loss, skin lesions, and even death. Prolonged exposure can result in skin thickening, darker skin, heart disease, and an increased risk of cancer. It's safe to say there are certainly better ways to attain a radiant appearance without ingesting this highly toxic element. And thankfully, most modern cosmetic suppliers do their best to minimize arsenic levels. Today, its presence is usually due to contamination during the manufacturing process, and completely eliminating it from all beauty products has proven to be quite a challenge. Nonetheless, we can rejoice in the idea that most of the cosmetic products found in your local beauty store no longer have high amounts of mercury and lead. But it wasn't just the toxic side effects of these elements that the ancient world needed to worry about, as during the Renaissance, a rather unusual practice arose that involved the use of belladonna, or more commonly known as nightshade. The plant's name, belladonna, which translates to beautiful woman in Italian, directly reflects its historical use. The most documented use of the plant was by women during the Renaissance. They used eye drops made from the plant's juice to dilate their pupils, a practice that was considered attractive and seductive at the time. This dilation effect made the eyes appear larger and more youthful, aligning with the beauty standards of the era. This was achieved through several active compounds in the plant, including atropine, which acts as an anticholinergic. In simple terms, these compounds block receptors in the muscles of the eye that constrict pupil size. This results in mydriasis, or pupil dilation, which was the desired cosmetic effect. Despite its popularity during the Renaissance, nightshade's use as a cosmetic product likely had its roots in earlier periods. There are claims that Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt, used extracts from the nightshade family to dilate her pupils. Beyond cosmetic applications, belladonna was also used medicinally. It was employed as a pain reliever, muscle relaxant, and anti-inflammatory. In ancient Greece, belladonna was used to treat wounds, gout, and sleeplessness. But as you're likely well aware by now, nightshade can also become very toxic when used in great quantities or for prolonged periods of time. In regards to the plant's foliage and berries, they are extremely poisonous when ingested and can lead to a plethora of health problems ranging from pregnancy to cardiovascular diseases and gastrointestinal disorders, and in the worst-case scenario, death. In ancient times, it was even used as a poison. This is seen in the story of Livia Drusilla, the wife of Emperor Augustus, who used the berries of a plant to murder her husband. But even those using the belladonna drops were subject to severe side effects. These included blurred vision, difficulty focusing on near objects, and increased heart rate. Prolonged use was even reputed to cause blindness. As we look back through history, the allure of beauty has always been a powerful force, driving innovation and, unfortunately, sometimes recklessness. We've journeyed through time, from the sun-drenched sands of ancient Egypt to the opulent courts of Europe, witnessing the evolution of cosmetics. We've seen how the pursuit of a flawless complexion or captivating eyes led to the use of ingredients that, today, we recognize as profoundly dangerous. The story of toxic cosmetics is a cautionary tale. It reminds us that the pursuit of beauty, however compelling, should never come at the expense of our health. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Historama for more just like it.